Today on Time About the Movie, Seth Rogen stars in a superhero movie that you may or may have not remembered actually came out. I know I certainly don't remember it, and it's been, 15 years, but The Green Hornet, we'll see if it holds up, if I remember it being that great or whatever, but a movie that I know hasn't held up very well, The Dilemma, Ron Howard's latest film with Vince Vaughn, Kevin James, Winona Ryder, Jennifer Connelly, Channing Tatum, Queen Latifah among its cast. Should be good, right? It's January. What do you think is going to happen? January 14, 2011. Certainly going to be better than the last episode I did. This is Time About the Movies.
In IMAX 3D.
And welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the two films of January 14, 2011, and regardless of how bad these movies are going to be today, they certainly are a lot better than the film we looked at last time around, which was about a 6-minute episode. This one, I promise you, will be much longer than that. As we begin with our first movie here, which wasn't really a bad movie, but it was definitely a film that definitely was the literal definition of a come-and-go movie, because it came, it made its money, and then never was mentioned ever again. And that's The Green Hornet, based off, of course, of the classic superhero from the comic book, from the comics. Was it the comics, or was it just the TV show? I think it was just the TV show. Well, no, it was a radio show before it became the TV show. Well, most people remember it from the TV show, but this is, of course, the adaptation of that, starring Seth Rogen as the Green Hornet, a character created by George W. Trendle and Frank Stryker in 1936. Jay Chow stars as the sidekick Kato, alongside Christoph Waltz, Cameron Diaz, Edward James Olmos, David Harbour, and Tom Wilkinson. And in the film, Rogen plays a newspaper publisher's son who, following his father's sudden death, teams up with a martial arts skilled mechanic to become crime-fighting vigilantes, attracting the attention of a Russian mobster played by Christoph Waltz. Here's how much I don't remember this movie. I 100% completely forgot this was directed by Michel Gondry, the same man that gave us Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, The Science of Sleep, Be Kind, Rewind. I completely forgot he directed this movie. That doesn't sound like it's a good sign going forward, but I remember when I went to see the movie, I liked it. I didn't hate it overall. I just didn't think it was a great film overall. I bought the Blu-ray for it whenever it came back out on Blu-ray, because I do remember liking the film, but I'll be honest, when I went through my collections a couple times, I've never really had any real chance of toy boat. I've never had any real intentions on watching the movie ever again, and I eventually got rid of it. So now it's been nearly 15 years since the movie came out. I've had a chance to watch it again. How do I feel about it now? Kind of about the same I did back then. It's not a bad movie. It's just a film that's just kind of there. There really is nothing about it that makes it unique or special in any way, shape, or form. And with people like Michel Gondry and Seth Rogen collaborating on this, you would expect so much more from that. I mean, the cast alone, a cast that also includes an Oscar winner from Glorious Bastards at the time, Christoph Waltz, Cameron Diaz, David Harbour. This was him pre-Stranger Things. Tom Wilkinson, Edward James Olmos. The cast is impeccably good in here, and that should be enough to carry the film. But sadly, the movie just it's just on autopilot pretty much. That's probably the best way to describe this movie. Autopilot. It's not bad. It's not great. It's just coasting along. It's like the equivalent of a roller coaster that doesn't have what's the word I want to use here? It's like a roller coaster that doesn't have an upward slope or doesn't have any loops or any turns or anything. It's just a straightforward ride, and then you're back at the station. That's all it is, really. I mean, it could be comfortable sometimes. It could be something where it's just like, I don't hate it, but it's not like I wasn't expecting much from it. But at the same time, it really doesn't feel like they're doing anything to elevate this to what this could potentially be. Seth Rogen, I think, is doing fine in here, but I really think he could do so much more with this. And he's proven time again since this that he can work with superhero material and make it work. We've seen what happened with him with Invincible. He's one of the producers on that. And I think he's also a producer on The Boys, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did The Boys. He did Preacher. So in the time since then, he has gotten better with superhero material. But with this, it really feels like there's nothing there to make this stand out or do anything that's spectacular or so unique or anything creative with it. It's just limping along, doing nothing or doing. It's a safe and marketable movie. Is probably the best way to describe it. A very safe film. It gives the audience, it gives the fans of the original Green Hornet what they want to see. A show of that type in a modern setting. It updates it so that, modern audiences can get some kicks out of it. But it never does enough to elevate it to something really special. And honestly, where they put it out here, I can see why it's a January movie. I mean, it certainly isn't any better than, it can't be any worse than some of the bad January films. We're about to talk about another one just in a couple seconds here. But the 3D, I mean, I could do the post-production 3D hell thing, that type of thing, but it's not worth it. I mean, it's fine. There's nothing really as terrible as something like Clash of the Titans or Piranha 3D or not even Piranha 3D, but My Soul to Take. This one's just passable, and that's probably the best way to describe the movie. Passable. It's just kind of a film that's literally there. You watch it, you come out, you wait a couple of days, and then you automatically forget about it. I mean, it's a movie where literally nothing of interest makes it something that you need to see. And a movie with Michelle Gondry, a Seth Rogen superhero movie with a cast that includes an Academy Award winner and Christoph Waltz as the villain, should not just be a safe and bland movie. It really should not. And sadly, that's what this movie is, unfortunately. So, yeah, it disappointed me to check this out again and see that my thoughts really have not changed on it per se. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just literally on autopilot. It's a film that's just coasting along, and then that's it. It doesn't really do anything that makes it stand out or anything. It just doesn't work. I mean, at least to me it doesn't. But I'll give it this, though. It certainly is a hell of a lot better than our last film that we have here, which this really takes the cake as the true prime example of a bad January release. A movie that features a way too talented cast, which includes Vince Vaughn, Kevin James, Jennifer Connelly, Winona Ryder, Channing Tatum, Queen Latifah. Half of those people have been nominated for Academy Awards, and one of them has won an Academy Award. And it's directed by an Academy Award-winning director, Ron Howard. So how could a movie like that fail? Well, here's the dilemma.
I feel a little challenged. Rated PG-13.
Get it? Because he said earlier that you might have challenging urination. Oh my god, this movie. Let me tell you something. That trailer does not give you a clear indication of the hell that you're about to sit through. You want to know how bad this movie is? You see a little bit of Queen Latifah in there. What that commercial doesn't show you was what was in the trailer, and I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they decided to do this, but someone in their bright mind told Queen Latifah to act like a hey bro type of man in her performance, because this is what she acts like in the movie.
That motor in that car, when it started vibrating.
I'm sorry?
If I was sitting on the hood of that car and the way it was shaking,
yeah, that happens in the movie, and it's one of those things where it's just like, if you want to do that, that's fine, but you gotta be smarter than that. You gotta be more clever than that. I don't know what the hell they were thinking about when they told her to do this, but my god, that performance, it's not in the movie for long, but when it comes on there, it's like cringe-worthy. She's just like, it's basically the equivalent of a hey bro, like that type of a person, except it's a woman this time around. And, Queen Latifah, it makes a performance like this makes you appreciate more stuff like Bringing Down the House, which, that came out around the time she was up for an Oscar for Chicago, and that movie was not the best received, but that's a much funnier performance than anything in this movie here. I mean, this whole movie is a disaster, a worse kind of, a terrible, terrible disaster. We haven't even gotten to the premise of this because, yeah, that's where the trouble really begins. You follow savvy businessman Ronnie, played by Vince Vaughn, and genius engineer Nick, played by Kevin James, who are best friends and partners in an auto design firm. They are pursuing a pilot to make their firm famous. Ronnie sees Nick's wife, Geneva, played by Winona Ryder, kissing another man, played by Channing Tatum. Ronnie seeks out answers and has to figure out how to tell Nick about what he saw while working with him to complete their critical presentation. Jennifer Connelly plays Vince Vaughn's girlfriend in this, and like I said, Queen Latifah is also in here as well. You see Clint Howard in there. It's a Ron Howard movie, so of course Clint Howard's going to be in there. And actually, Ron's father is also in here as well. So the basic premise of the movie is Vince Vaughn sees that his best friend's wife is cheating on him, and the whole movie is basically, should Vince Vaughn tell him what really happened? I mean, it's his best friend, but his wife is literally threatening you, which we'll get to that in a minute, because that's something where, I mean, that's a whole nother thing altogether. But the whole movie is literally just like that. The problem is, you're sitting in this for over 2 hours waiting for that moment when he's finally going to say it. But in actuality, this is something where the problem could easily be resolved in a matter of minutes. Seriously, that's what literally could happen here. Because, like I said before, Vince Vaughn tells Winona Ryder that, hey, I saw you kissing another man. I'm going to go tell my best friend. Well, which, first of all, dumbass move there by literally telling the person that is accused, is that you literally saw doing that, telling her that so she can easily figure out a way to blackmail you, which, sure enough, she does exactly. There's this whole thing in this restaurant where, where Winona Ryder tells Vince Vaughn that she's going to accuse Ronnie of hitting on her and tell Nick about a fling that they had back in college, which that's something that happens here. And you think that, I had something in my mouth there for a second, sorry, but okay, so that happens. Okay, she's going to blackmail him by doing this. And then, towards the end of the movie, when they have this intervention, Vince Vaughn just basically said, yeah, your wife's cheating on you, with him in there. And then guess what happens to this woman, to Winona Ryder's character, who thought that she was so confident and so in control of the whole situation with this. Guess what happens as soon as she lets it go? You ever see that episode of The Office where Angela kept trying to where Phyllis saw Angela and Dwight, sleeping together in the office, and, she knows their secret because Angela's getting engaged to Ed Helms' character. Who was that? I've watched The Office so many times, I can't remember who it is. Andy Bernard, and she's engaged to Andy, and she knows that Phyllis knows the secret, and so she's using it basically to get Angela to be nicer to her. And then there's this breaking point where Angela's just like, yeah, I don't care what happens at this point because I'm gonna insult you, and even though she knows your secret, like my secret and all, but at this point I don't care. And like there's literally a 10-second break between the time that she's finished and Phil's going like, okay, and then she's just like, Angela and Dwight have been having sex in the office, and it's just like, your secret's been blown there. The way they do it there is funny. Imagine that, except this is literally a problem with it. It's literally resolved in a matter of seconds, where Winona Ryder's character was so into keeping the secret because she knows that she got Vince Vaughn, and then when Vince Vaughn spoils it, what's the first thing she says? What did you expect? So yeah, like I said, this whole thing could have easily been resolved in 5 minutes at the most. This is a 2-hour movie. This is a 2-hour movie of Vince Vaughn thinking about, oh, should I tell my best friend about this? Should I not? Oh, what's the bro code here? It's just like, dude, just tell him. Like, if there was something that was funny that was going to happen afterwards, I would say, yeah, keep it up, keep it going. But no, nothing happens at that point. Nothing happens from the moment he finds out to the point where she reveals it. It's literally nothing but filler, and really, really bad filler, including an incredibly long, dragged out scene where, Vince Vaughn's character is heading to is at a reception for his girlfriend's parents' 40th anniversary party, and so he basically decides to go ahead and do this long, drawn-out rant about being honest with yourself and telling the truth, while Kevin James and Winona Ryder are right there. They're doing this while everyone is at the table, all the family is there, and Vince Vaughn just keeps going on and on and on, just waiting for that moment for her to break, and it's just like, you're not being smart by doing this whatsoever. Just shut up already. And yeah, the movie wants you to root him on. No, you don't root a guy like this on. When his best friends and his girlfriend are telling him, you need to settle down. You are right there with them, because no sane person would act like this whatsoever. But because we're in movie world and we need 2 hours to fill, that's what the thought of this scriptwriter is thinking. And guess who this wonderful scriptwriter is? Alan Loeb. The same man that gave us the greatness that was Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, and will soon give us such memorable pieces of garbage like Just Go With It and Here Comes the Boom, which coincidentally also stars Kevin James, and Rock of Ages as well. You get the hint that this guy is not a good writer, do ya? I hope we give you the point that it is, because yeah, this is the third film we've covered from him so far. The best thing he's ever written was The Switch, and even that was not a great movie, but it was certainly much more and much better than this or Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. No question about it. This movie is a disaster. This is an unbelievable mess of a movie. This is a shitty comedy with no real problem that can be solved simply within a matter of minutes. We need to drag this shit out. We need to make you sit there for 2 hours, making you question your own life choices. The cast is completely wasted here. Queen Latifah is so insulting to watch as they make her like one of the boys, and it's just, this whole movie is a fucking mess. This is one of the worst comedies I have ever seen in my entire life. It took me a long time to get to this movie, and thankfully I was never going to go, I was hoping I'd go the rest of my life never watching it, but I was stupid enough. It was on Comedy Central one time. It's like, I'll give it a watch. How bad could it possibly be? It's that bad. It's really that bad. And, you know, and this is the tradition with January. We get one of these really terrible comedies, and if I had to choose between stuff like Bride Wars and New in Town and Meet the Spartans and Epic Movie and Leap Year, I don't think any of these would be that bad, but it's pretty damn close. I mean, this is up there with some of the worst comedies I've ever seen in my life. This is up there with bad stuff like Old Dogs, Aliens in the Attic. I mean, this thing is atrocious. This movie is a fucking insult, not just to the actors, it's an insult to the director, Ron Howard, who should know better. I mean, this guy has made a ton of great movies in his career, and he was just struggling around this time. I mean, this was unbelievably bad. I mean, this may be his worst thing he's ever directed, and that's saying a lot with him, because he has made some good stuff, but he's made some bad stuff too, but this is very much high up there with the worst things he's ever directed. Yeah, I think you can get the hint. This movie is absolutely terrible. I've literally spent 10 minutes talking about how terrible this movie is. Like, oh, and I haven't even gotten to the funniest controversy of this whole thing, because yeah, this has a controversy that was so just as stupid as the movie itself. So Universal released the trailer for this, and the studio got complaints about the use of the word gay in Vince Vaughn's line in the trailer, saying electric cars are gay. I mean, not homosexual gay, but my parents are chaperoning the dance gay. And so Universal went to the Gay and Lesbian Allegiance Against Defamation League about the line and indicated that the studio knew the line was problematic and actually received complaints when the trailer appeared online before in theaters, and the studio decided to work with a new trailer. And you know, the line ended up getting criticized by Anderson Cooper in a story about gay bullying on a show on CNN, and then they disputed each other's actions towards remedy. GLAAD requested the trailer to be removed, and the line to be removed from the film itself, and ultimately the studio released the trailer without the offending line, and then Universal basically decided and went to go to Ron Howard, who had final cut privilege on it, and Ron Howard basically said, we're keeping it in there, fuck you, pretty much. And then Howard said he supported the removal of the line from advertising, but he justified his decision to keep it in the film, saying, if storytellers, comedians, actors, and artists are strong-armed in making creative changes, it will endanger comedy as both entertainment and a provoker of thought. They did all this because of one line about electric cars being gay and not homosexual gay. Can you imagine how much bigger of a controversy this would have been if this happened in today's world? Like, this thing could have easily been so much worse. This thing would have been much more covered, and would have gotten to a point where, they would have probably said, you're not putting the movie out until you get rid of that line, and Ron Howard probably wouldn't do it. But that's how hilariously bad this movie is, when not only is the movie bad, but even the controversies behind it are really fucking stupid. It's one line in particular, and it caused this whole controversy for no reason whatsoever. It's not even a good line, but it's just the fact that they made such a big deal out of this one line being in the movie, and that's what they did in the trailer. Not even the movie, the trailer. This one line in the trailer, and then they said, no, we're going to cause a stir up with this. It's just like, This is more pathetic than the couples retreat controversy. And I get it. The couples retreat controversy was bad. You know, having Faison Love and Callie Hawk in the backgrounds or not even on the posters. But at the same time, like, there was at least a reasoning behind that. This is just pathetic. Just like the rest of the movie itself. It's pathetic. It's a stupid controversy for a stupid movie. Now we're going on 12 minutes of me talking about this. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Bottom line, the dilemma fucking sucks. Avoid this one like the plague. Did you get the hint that the movie was bad? I hope so. With all that said, that's going to wrap up this episode of Time About the Movies. And the next time we meet, we'll take a look at a much better January comedy. Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman starring in the Friends with Benefits comedy No Strings Attached, which, funny enough, is actually one of two Friends with Benefits comedy, and even funnier than that, the other one is literally called Friends with Benefits, but that won't come out until the summer. But this is Ivan Reitman's first movie that he's made since My Super Ex-Girlfriend, so we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at The Way Back, and we'll also take a look at Ben Affleck in The Company Men. So, 3 films overall to take a look at. We'll take a look at them on the next episode. That'll be coming up tomorrow. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're closing in on 5,000 subscribers, so your subscription here would be more than helpful to get to that point. And also, don't forget to hit the notification button so you get updates when new videos come out, because we do post here every day. Check out our playlist as well, and also don't forget to check out the last episode we did. So, yeah, with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.